Right, subtopic 5.2, which is on energy and conservation of energy. So in this subtopic, you have to be able to state what is the principle of conservation of energy, apply the principle of conservation of energy. So we have mechanical energy and heat energy due to friction. And then you have to also state and apply the work energy theorem, this one. Okay, so what is actually energy? Well, energy is a system's ability to do work. So without energy, they cannot do work. Macam kita lah, macam nak bergerak if we don't have energy. Okay, so the SI unit is the same, which is joules lah, joule. It is a scalar quantity, so it does not have any directions. And these are some forms of energy. So we usually have what? Okay, I mean, so some forms of energy are chemical, electrical, heat, so on lah. So you can read that on your own. And then we will be focusing on kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is an energy due to its motion. Okay, so this energy is present because of motion. Okay, so this is the formula. And then let's look at the work kinetic energy theorem. So this is basically the the derivation in how we obtain this formula. Okay, so if you want to know how we derive it, just read it through here. It's very simple. And so basically the work kinetic energy theorem is telling us that the work done by the net force is equal to the change in the body's kinetic energy. So keep in mind that this formula is very important because we will use it kind of frequently in some of the questions lah. Okay, right. And then we have also potential energy, where it is defined as the energy stored in a body because of its position, shape, and also state. Okay, so we also have gravitational potential energy. Okay, so this one is due to its position lah. Okay, potential energy of a body, energy stored lah. Okay, so potential energy ni, it's the storage of energy lah. Okay, so you can calculate that using this formula here, and it always depends on the height of the object from above the surface of the earth lah. Okay, and then we also have work gravitational potential energy theorem, which is the one which is that one lah. Okay, so that is the potential and kinetic energy. Now we go on to the principle of conservation of energy. Okay, so I'm sorry, but this one you can actually read through it lah. The explanation is very simple, so I'm sure you are able to understand that. So now, principle of conservation of energy. So what does it state? It states that in an isolated or closed system, the total energy of the system will be constant. Okay, it's kind of similar to the principle of conservation of linear momentum, but this one is for energy in general lah. So what it's saying is the energy initial will be equal to the final energy lah, total energy. Okay, so for the conservation of mechanical energy pula, the sum of its potential energy U and kinetic energy should be constant. Okay, so the one I've highlighted are very important, so make sure you read through the explanations and make sure you understand that part lah. Okay, now we also have elastic potential energy. For this one, actually, I'm not very sure if we still have this in syllabus, but I'm just gonna teach you in case the question come up lah. Okay, so for elastic potential energy, it is the energy stored in elastic materials. Okay, so it is the result of their stretching or compressing lah. Okay, so remember kamu pernah dengar juga kan Hooke's law. So Hooke's law states that the restoring force of spring is directly proportional to the amount of stretch of their stretching or compressing. So mathematically it is written like this. All right, so the negative sign here is always opposite to the direction of the amount to the amount of extension or compression lah. Okay, what else? So these are some of the cases where we need to use the elastic potential energy punya formula. Okay, I think so just have a read through this, and in case we come up with, in case we bump into the questions that ask about this elastic potential energy, then you can go back to this part here lah. Have a read through it. Okay, right. So that is basically on subtopic energy and conservation of energy. I'm not sure about the elastic potential energy, because in our learning outcomes it didn't mention specifically if we are gonna be having questions on that topic lah. Okay, but what I do know is the work kinetic energy theorem. This part is very important lah. Okay, so yeah, that is on subtopic 5.2.